I can honestly say my golf is looking up for 2024. If you want yours to as well, watch to the end of this video and hit that subscribe button. I think this year I'm going to strike the ball better than ever, and this is why. So I've been practicing quite a lot recently, and that's new for me. I'm not a big practicer, but if you want something to practice that can just help you raise your game for 2024, have a think about this. So for my game personally, I've been working really hard, not only on alignment, so whenever I come out on a golf course, if I'm playing by myself, if I'm on the driving range, I'll put something down for my alignment just to make sure that I'm doing the simple things right. I've always heard from really good golf coaches, if you could have the perfect setup or the perfect golf swing, what would you have?
The perfect setup.
You would have the perfect setup, because you cannot have the perfect golf swing for you without having the perfect setup for you. And the words "for you" are vital here, because there is no perfect golf swing and there is no perfect setup. But we want to make sure that you work in a perfect order to get to those positions. So I've set a club up nicely here, and I'm starting to actually just aim at the left-hand side of a target because I'm hitting a nice fade. If you're hitting a nice draw, then make sure you aim to the right-hand side, but always try and think about picking a target and having a ball flight that works consistently for you. Have a one-way miss so you know where that ball's going to go. If you're striving to break 90, break 80, break 85, you can't do that if the ball's going right and left. You need to make sure you know which way the ball's going, so that's vital, and it's going to help with your alignment. Another thing that's helping massively, and I think it can help you guys as well, is making sure that takeaway is precise. And by precise, I mean what's happening with the club face and what's happening with the upper body here. So as I take the club away here, I make sure that the upper body is taking the club away. We've spoken about this at length quite a lot, so we'll put some more videos in the description if you want to hear more on that. But take the club away with the upper body, make sure that club face is nice and square to the spine angle. And then what's helping me massively, and I feel like this is why my ball striking is coming on leaps and bounds, I think it could really help you guys as well. I'm trying to get deeper into the right hip. What does that mean, James? It's not a swimming pool, how do you get deep into the hip? Well, so often I see people in pro-ams or when they come for lessons, they pick the club up and they rotate this way. And you're like, oh, okay, that looks okay, that looks fine. But realistically here, you're not going to create much power because you haven't managed to get your big muscles involved. You haven't managed to squat into that backswing, get that hip a little bit deeper, almost feel like you're losing a bit of height. This is what David Ledbetter had me doing in my lesson. Load up nicely, and then from here, if your hip is loaded nice and deep and around yourself, you can then do the same with the left hip. You can work down into the ball. You can see I'm rotating those hips. I'm not sliding over. The hips turn, and from here you're in a great position to get that club forward shaft lean in and de-loft it dynamically so you can get that perfect strike. You can hit down into the ball. So if I hit you a couple of shots, you'll see that I'm not now anymore relying on timing, because timing's something which can be great for a golf swing, but can also be really destructive to a golf swing. So a nice takeaway, a nice deep hip set, and then turn through. You can see that's fading nicely back onto the target. And essentially what go on. Oh. And essentially what I'm trying to do here is create an air of consistency with that ball flight, but also with what I'm trying to do with my body mechanics, because the golf club's vitally important, but the golf club has no mind of its own, so it will do what you tell it to do. So again, if I set up to this golf ball and I feel like I'm aiming correctly, I'm going to take the club away nicely with the upper body, then the hip sets deep. It actually puts me, I feel like, in a really nice position at the top of the backswing, and I try to feel like that right knee just straightens a little bit. I'm then working on not only the rotation into the downswing, but the rotation matched with how you're moving that weight at impact. So is my weight on the left side at impact? Tick in the box if it is. If it isn't and you're moving this way, that's when you're going to really struggle with strike, and you're going to really struggle with club face angle and making sure that club face is square to your target. So if we go again, a nice deep hip set, making sure I work down into that ball. Identical ball flight, fading back to that right side. Take a good kick again. That one's just stayed on the left-hand side of the green. But you can see divot-wise, the divot is working slightly left of my alignment because the club's working around my body. That's perfect. I don't want a divot absolutely square to my target because then I'm reaching out here. I want the club working around my body. I want that shaft leaning forward. I want to deal off the club. And the only way I'm going to do that is by making sure I'm doing all these things correctly, That's how I feel like I'm going to play my best golf of 2024. If you want to join me, hit that subscribe button and we'll see you all tomorrow.